This is Heart Rhythm TV. My name is Janet Hahn, and I have the distinct pleasure of being here with some of my pace setters. So, pace setters, for all of you that may or may not be on Twitter, are the people that run around to all the sessions and give us little blurps about each session that as they happen live. So, happy to be here with all you folks. I actually want to hear from each and every one of you about what session you guys thought outside of the late breakers that was interesting to you. And I'm going to start with our early career person, Rachita. So give it a go.
Great. Yeah. Thanks so much, Dr. Han. So a session that I found particularly insightful was the consumerization of ECG and AFib detection. That was a session on day one on Friday. I thought it was important to highlight not only the expansion of consumer wearables that our patients often come with, but also the caveats that are important for relying solely on those waveforms for diagnosis and management. But I think it was interesting to see from the audience that about 75% of physicians would proceed with management of atrial fibrillation based on a smartwatch ECG alone, whether that be antiarrhythmic treatment or anticoagulation. So, of course, it's important to verify these tracings for ourselves, but I think that was an interesting tie-in to how this expansion of consumer products has directly driven clinical practice.
Yeah, I think that's, very interesting because we know that for sure with all these watches and wearables and all those sorts of things, there are some trials, but it's not really in the guidelines yet to be using these things, right? So the gold standard obviously is still 12-lead ECG. So I think, that's super important to highlight. And I want to go to Firaz next. What did you think?
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, one of the sessions which I really like and was really insightful is a debate between Dr. Jason Andrade and Dr. Luigi Di Biase. They debated the use of technique for atrial fibrillation ablation with BVI alone, which was Dr. Andrade advised for, and BVI plus additional ablation with Dr. Di Biase advised for patients with persistent atrial fibrillation. Both of them they have a strong point, and that showed us actually we don't have a really solid plan to do after BVI. We know BVI works for persistent atrial fibrillation. Everyone agreed 40 or 50% freedom is not enough. Yeah. So we need to do more. What's more, that will be the next for a few years for do research and explore more as well.
Yeah, outstanding. I was in a couple sessions this morning chairing them, and we looked at doing double WACA, which was not significant. So don't have to do 2 lines, so you could do 1 line. Not significant for persistent. And DJ Laccaretti actually talked about using the lariat, so make sure that you guys look that up a little bit later. So yes. Sandeep, what did you see?
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity, Janet, and thanks to HRS. So I want to talk about the social media session that you chaired, in which there was a lot of interest about different modalities for social media other than Twitter. I was especially impressed by Dr. Hafiza Khan's use of Instagram and how she has inspired a lot of young women to invest into cardiology and electrophysiology. And the talk by Dr. Gopi Dattamundi at Don't Diss the GP about how social media actually drove the use of the 3830 Medtronic lead and actually forced the manufacturer to produce more of these leads because they were getting short of it, because that's how conduction system pacing was popularized by the hashtag Don't Diss the HIS. And this actually translated further into the clinical cardiac electrophysiology program directors meeting that we had later that day, in which there was a lot of interest about the importance of social media in early career in fellows, and how the program directors were sort of a bit frustrated, but also interested in how they could use it to further the fellows' education.
Yeah, I think we had such a great panel that the program directors probably could talk to that panel to figure out some strategies for sure. But yes, you got to be good, and you got to be sort of careful about what you post on social media for sure. So I want to hear from Jeff, our one peds guy. So let's hear it.
Sure. So I was most excited, I think, by the sessions on the prediction of ventricular tachycardia in tetralogy of Fallot based on cardiac MRI.
Sure.
Probably not all the electrophysiologists know that we're on the cusp of a breakthrough in transcatheter valves for native outflow tracts for tetralogy of Fallot, which will restrict access to a chunk of myocardium in a large portion of these patients. And so how we manage their arrhythmia situation in preparation for those procedures is really important. And having a non-invasive strategy that could help guide management, I think, is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, that's great. I'm so glad to have you walking around and running around doing all the education online. Please make sure you check out Pace Setters with the hashtag HRS 2022. They will be still running around for the rest of the day today. You can actually look all that stuff up on Twitter. So thanks again, guys, and make sure follow us on YouTube, Heart Rhythm TV, and like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll have more from HRS 2022 today.